Hey, everybody, it's time for some bonus stuff. We just got done reviewing Gone with the Wind for our other channel, How Six Goes. So go check that out. We have done a whole decade of Best Picture Oscar winners, so pretty cool. But Gone with the Wind was pretty long. It clocks in, I think the official time's like 3 hours and 48 minutes. But you could take or give a few because it does have like intermission and stuff like that. So I think my actual time was 3 hours and 30 minutes. But I thought we would look at the longest films of all time. So, not surprisingly, these come from the experimental genres. So, we're going to take a look at some of the longest films ever. So the longest film of all time is called Logistics. It's from 2012 or 2012 from Sweden. It is
What?
51,420 minutes long, 35 that equals 35 days and 17 hours. You see the two people who created it, and it's all about the production of a pedometer that goes in reverse chronology. So they have the pedometer and they sell it, and then it goes like all the way to where it was built and stuff like that. So
That's not a movie. That's longer than almost every series, dude.
it's long. It's a long one. So next up,
Goodness.
we got Modern Times Forever. This came out in 2011 from Denmark. It is 14,400 minutes. That's 10 days long. It was created by an artist group called the Superflex, and it's all about the decay of a building and what that would look like. So the building's actually there, but they actually like projected the film onto the building when they first showed it. So kind of shows what would happen if that building decayed. Next up, we got Beijing 2003. This actually came out in 2004. It's from China. It's 9,000 minutes long. That's 6 days, 6 hours. And this one is they put a camera on a vehicle and they drove down every street in Beijing. So
Good lord.
And that took 6 days?
it took six. That's a big city,
Someone needs to
Jerry.
find their gas pedal.
Next up, we got a movie called Cinemation. This came out in 2009 in France. It's 9,000. It's the same length as the last one, so 9,000 minutes, 6 days, 6 hours. And this one consists of over 3,000 short vignettes of celebrities in France. So little, they're all like 3 minute longs and stuff. They're actually there's some on YouTube. I think you can find like 900 of them on YouTube. So next up, we got Untitled number 125 Hickory. So this came out in 2011. It's from USA. 7,200 minutes. That's 5 days. This is from the controversial artist Josh Azzarello. Basically he took a scene from The Wizard of Oz, which is 6 minutes long, and he extended it to a whole movie that's 5 days long. So next up, I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation on this one, but it's Matryoshka, kind of like the dolls. It's 2006 from Germany, 5,700 minutes long, 3 days and 23 hours. This is it's kind of hard to describe this one. I was reading it. It's a sequence based on a single photo. So you see one of the photos here. It's a boy riding a bike, and it very slowly like turns into a different picture. It's kind of strange. You can't even tell that it's moving, but it changes. This is probably the most well-known one on the list. It's Cure for Insomnia. Came out in 1987 in the USA. It's 5,220 minutes long. That's 3 days and 15 hours. And it's basically an artist who's reading a poem, and there's like heavy metal music videos and pornographic videos spliced in throughout the movie. So,
Oh my.
the longest, most meaningless movie in the world from 1968. It's a UK and French production. It's 2,880 minutes long. That's 2 days. And it's basically just a collection of clips of like everything they could find, commercials, deleted scenes from movies. They pretty much just put everything they could find into this.
YouTube the
I was about to
movie.
say these people are just
Yeah.
making YouTube in the 60s.
So Andy Warhol's, this one's called 4 Stars. It came out in 1967. It's 1,500 minutes long. That's a day and an hour. And this is basically just a bunch of collection of short stories.
At least that's something. It's not
Yeah.
just nonsense and
It's kind
pictures.
of a movie. So the last one is called 24 Hour Psycho. This came out in 1993 in the UK. It is a 1 day long. It's 24 hours. So they basically slow down Psycho for 2 frames per second, and that equals to a whole day. So they got the 24 hours.
That's not a movie. It's just a different movie. It's just a slower movie.
It's an art installation, Michael.
I was gonna say that's more like an art piece than an
These
actual
people are
movie.
hurting my brain. Never been
So there we have it. The 10 longest movies ever made. Do you want to watch it?
What's that student film where it's just like a wall, or you just
Yeah, that one's actually short. You can actually watch that one. But yeah, it's basically a wall, and then something happens at the end.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh my.
All right, so bonus stuff. What happened this week? Well, what happened this week was the debut of a series that we've all been looking forward to, haven't we? And that's called Rings of Power. We got the first trailer for this. Michael, did you have thoughts on this one?
I mean, I watched the trailer. I don't remember the trailer because the whole time my brain's thinking, how is it this soon? How is it this soon? How is it this? Like, I was really hoping this wouldn't happen for another year or two. I don't remember. Yeah, that too. I don't know. People think that Sauron's hot now. He has elf ears.
No, he looks terrible.
He looks like a cone head. It looks like they added 4 inches to his head and put a wig on it.
He looks like Catamundi.
It's so weird. I'm like, it's obviously a hairpiece, but my God, like, could they not like shave his head? Like, what?
Yeah,
it's literally just a block.
The most egregious thing of this trailer was the clips from the first season that I remembered what the first season was about, and I was like, "Oh yeah, huh? That happened, and that happened, and that happened," and then I was. But the second, I don't know. I got nothing for this. I got no energy to put towards this show.
It just doesn't look like Lord of the Rings. It doesn't sound like Lord of the Rings. The last line, she's like, "It was Sauron. He was Sauron." It's like,
we knew that last time.
I know people say she's known for a while and she hasn't told anyone. Oh man!
Oh no!
It was Sauron the whole time.
In August as well. Like that's not.
Yeah, it's pretty
away.
soon. It's pretty soon. We're gonna have to watch that first episode, Michael, at least.
I thought we were watching the whole thing.
I was gonna say, let's just do it all, man. Let's do
Michael
it all.
might quit on us. He might.
It can't be worse than Super, right? Just gonna put
Wow.
stairs.
Oh, there's some other trailers too. There was one for Dune, the Dune prequel series. What was that one called? Where do you
Prophecy?
forget? Prophecy of Dune?
Yeah,
like
Prophecy
that.
of Dune.
What did you guys think of? Did you guys get to see this one?
I saw a clip of it, but I didn't actually watch the thing.
It looks like a Brian Herbert story, and I'm like, no, just don't do it.
Yeah, it looks like a series. It looks like someone got a hold of Dune and got to make some
Michael,
stuff with.
Frank Herbert's son, and is it Kevin Anderson? Is that who wrote it?
Yeah, Kevin J. Anderson.
Kevin J. Anderson. They wrote like 30 other Dune books, and they're not good. Like they completely contradict everything in the first 5. Because Frank Herbert only wrote 5. That's it. That's all he wrote.
Well, he wanted to write another one, but he died.
Yeah, he died.
It
kind of
happens.
spoilers. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, sort of. But they took all of this stuff, and I'm talking like they go back like thousands of years to like the Valerian Jihad, and it's not good.
They go,
None of
you
it
know
is
how
good.
all that happens? Back tingles. That's how it all happens
Yeah.
in Dune.
And the only
Give it
thing
a
that
rest,
was-
Michael.
We'll get to back tingles.
The only thing they
Oh
ever
my
did that was
God.
good was this alternate Dune novel that Frank Herbert pretty much already wrote, but he kind of changed up the world a bit. It's more grounded in reality instead of the mysticism of it all. And so that's the only thing that they released that I've ever liked, because everything else I'm like, this is just garbage. Oh my God. So
We
that's what it
got-
looks like.
Another trailer for House of the Dragons. Did you guys see that one?
I've just stopped watching trailers because I'm like, I'm gonna watch the show. There's no sense in
True.
stuff that's gonna happen.
I didn't really pay attention to it.
They don't show anything. I was like, okay, well, cool.
It looked better than Rings of Power, I guess.
Yeah. Also, honestly, I'm fine with them just like releasing one trailer and be like, okay, cool. It comes out then. So, or then.
Yeah.
There you go. Hen.
And what was the other trailer? We got one for Megaopolis, which is.
Oh, I did see that.
You see that? Looks.
Chris is like, you got to see this, and I was like, okay.
It looked kind of. Remember that movie we watched with Adam Driver? What was it called? Like
Oh, the weird
a
puppet
girl's
movie.
name? Yeah, it kind of looks like
Oh,
that.
I did not like that movie.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like that movie.
Annette.
And
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
you go.
Annette.
I like that movie, but
Oh my gosh.
Man, that was a rough one.
I don't know. Like, this is weird. This is the first movie Coppola has made in a long time, and he's putting a lot into this. He's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
he's been wanting to make this for a long time. But I think I'd rather see Ridley Scott's Monopoly movie that he always wanted to make. Did we get another trailer? There was another one, wasn't there? I'm forgetting one. There was one for Wicked. Wicked looks terrible. I don't know if you guys seen that one.
I've never been a huge fan of Wicked,
But
I
it's
love
got,
musicals, but
If you guys watch the trailer, it's just like it's got Ariana Grande in there.
Oh, I saw a clip of that, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, pass by.
Her voice is very high. I don't know what's going on there.
I do keep getting like Instagram posts from like premieres whenever they just have the cameras shoved up into the star's face, whatever. And I saw two of them. It was the one with Emma Stone, her new movie, and like
Oh yeah.
I guess like, I was kind of thinking it was funny. Like they're both just like Emma Stone's doing this, like go to the director, it's his movie, like basically doing that. And then Adam Driver's came up to me and he just takes the camera and pushes it over to Coppola. He's like, that's who made the movie. Everyone's just like, oh look, the face of the movie. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
All right. Controversy time. So Tinkerbell has been canceled, ladies and gentlemen. You will no longer see Tinkerbell at the Disney parks because she's
What happened to
problematic.
Tinkerbell?
she's
Dude.
too body positive, Michael.
Oh,
She's
got
got-
them hips.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stupid.
Birthing.
Dude.
hips.
What we ever do when the hot girl wants to play Tinkerbell and in Halloween? We don't have that anymore. Damn it.
No more. I've never
Dude,
seen
I
a
don't know.
Tinkerbell at Halloween before.
Why we need to cancel Tinkerbell? I have like cousins who grew up loving Tinkerbell. That's like all they had. They had all those Tinkerbell movies and
Oh,
And
yeah,
everything
was
in Peter
Tinkerbell.
Pan that's problematic, and there's a lot of problematic
I
things in Peter Pan. They cancer Tinkerbell.
Those hips don't lie, Thomas.
Yeah.
Where like
Not be
what
a beautiful
spurned
woman
this?
anymore.
Who
Where'd it come
knows,
from?
man?
I didn't even
It's
see
like-
this anywhere.
You did it. They're like they're
Just
not
got
gonna
bored.
have
Like, what should we
Tinkerbell.
cancel today?
I first saw it was something about the Disneyland parks. Is like they're not going to feature Tinkerbell anymore because she's problematic. She's too hot. I guess I don't know.
I feel
It's
like
dumb.
she's very
It's real
average for
dumb.
an animated character. It's like
I know she's tiny.
she's tiny and wears a dress that looks like a leaf. She looks like
It's
a
also
fairy
they don't
creature.
like how she has a crush on Peter Pan. Because they say that's problematic. I don't know.
They're both immortal. Who cares?
I'm confused.
Yeah, people have gone nuts. People are crazy.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Oh man. And the sad thing is they're coming after anime. So you think you'd
Oh,
be
boy.
safe for anime, but no, they're coming after it. Disney so overseas Hulu shows anime and Disney's in charge of that.
Oh, yeah.
And they had an interview with like the guy running Hulu and he's like, well, yeah, we're going to try to pressuring anime studios to be more to conform more to Western values. So it's like Well, I guess we
Hopefully
got.
they're like, screw you, and then like,
Well,
Cool. I guess they're starting off with Ubisoft doing something.
well, yeah, and then so we're gonna get into that. But first, we'll start with Square Enix, who's got the opposite reaction, and they're like, "We're done with this stuff." They said they're done with Sony exclusive, because they said it's hurting them. The last Final Fantasy didn't do very well. I think that was Final Fantasy 16, right?
Mhm.
That did not do very well. The sales, Final Fantasy 7 Part 2, whatever that was called, that also did not do very well. So Square Enix is like, we're done with this exclusivity thing and we're done with like Western input. We're just gonna make, Square Enix games again. So that's good.
nice.
That's some good news. But then,
Will they have Kingdom Hearts on Xbox now?
dude, that'd be
Isn't it?
cool.
And it's full of sexy people.
Oh.
Sexy
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbells
Play-
everywhere.
PlayStation exclusive.
Oh. Well, another thing about Square Enix that they've been doing so badly for a while that is like they've had like dozens of games a year. Like their slate for the past few years has been, it'd be like Square Enix, this, that spin-off of this, that on like every month. You're like, hold, calm the heck down. I am surprised, like even after 16 came out, I know it had a big like initial sale, but I think, it just didn't climb anywhere after that, which is kind of surprising. But I'm like, I feel like that game had a
Nobody
lot
was
of,
streaming it.
It was surprising because
interesting.
everyone was like super excited
Yeah.
for it, and then they got it, and then no one like played it.
I'm
It
very,
was like
very interested about why that happened, but
they're all like, we got to this certain part, and then we just kind of gave up on it. I guess it has
I
like a
didn't-
long intro.
the middle
I
of
didn't
it is
realize
a slog.
Good.
So,
I didn't realize how big Square Enix was in Japan. But one of the AV guys I worked with did a lot of overseas stuff, and we were just comparing like companies. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Square Enix is basically Disney but Japan. That's how big they are, and that's how much influence they have too. They're
Jeez.
huge. Yeah,
that makes sense
But
that they
it's
got
pretty
with
much
Kingdom
local-
Hearts.
yeah. Well, it's pretty much yeah, exactly. That's why it was a big deal when those two paired up and made that game. Was basically Disney and Disney. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
So just when you think that a gaming studio has learned its lesson, Ubisoft goes and steps on another mine.
At this point, they're just trying. They're doing their best.
So we got
They're
the
just like
reveal-
that little girl in Gone with the Wind, Michael. Just like right into
I'm
into
gonna
that
jump.
2x4.
So they come out with the newest Assassin's Creed. Was it Assassin's Creed Shadows or something like that? which
Someone
is-
said they wasted the name Black Flag.
well, Shadows is pretty problematic too, if you think about it. So they come out with this game and they're like, everyone's like, oh, cool. They're gonna make a Ghost of Tsushima, just Assassin's Creed version. But they went with the poor decision of making it star this. Okay, this guy's got a complicated history. Well, it's not that complicated. It's actually a sad story, but they've been trying to turn it into like he's the first black samurai, which is not true. If you go, he's a retainer, and basically he's just kind of this trophy for Nobunaga, right?
It's actually a
Yeah,
sad story.
It's a
really.
sad story. They kind of paraded him around just because he was black, and
And like 6'5". Like he was a tall dude.
So he was just used kind of as a trophy for Nobunaga. And once he died, the guy took off, and like no one ever saw him again. Good reason, he probably didn't want to stick around there. But anyway, they decide to base it on this guy's life because they've been trying to push this narrative that he was the first black samurai, and there's no evidence at all that he ever was a samurai. They've even gotten into Wikipedia. The web page used to have where it said that there's no evidence that he was a samurai. They went in and they erased that statement from Wikipedia.
Have you seen the Wikipedia notes for the past few days on Yusuke? Dude, it is like thousands of entries that people have like tried to edit. It is nuts. And like they have to like keep erasing it because it's so politically charged. It's crazy. and people are like making crap up and like calling out certain YouTubers like on the Wikipedia page. Like it is crazy. I'm just like, guys, it's an encyclopedia, not Twitter. Like, geez.
And then, so they've even offended the Japanese, because the Japanese on their YouTube site where they put the video out, it has like thousands of dislikes, far more dislikes than it has likes. Basically, the Japanese people kind of feel like they've been disrespected, that their culture's not being honored. And you got to feel sorry for Asians, because Asians get so much discrimination against them, because like even IGN came out and was like, well, Asians are just like white people, right? So
Yeah.
the poor
I was just
Asian
like,
people don't get any
What the
respect.
heck?
well, and you have some people saying like, oh, well, you know, Leonardo da Vinci didn't help out the assassins. I'm like, that's not the point. Like, also, you weren't playing as Leonardo da Vinci in
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2. Like, you were playing as a person who met him. And
everyone points out every Assassin's Creed, they just base the character on the culture that it's based
Yeah.
in. So like if there was an Egypt run, right? So you're like Egyptian, you're in Israel, you're in Israel. So it's like, why, when you finally get to Japan, why aren't you just a Japanese guy, you know? So yeah, big
'cause
controversy.
they've had like multiple like races. Like they've had the Vikings who were played by Norse people. They've had Greeks, they were played by all those Greek people. Like the original Assassin's Creed was Middle Eastern. He was Middle Eastern. Like he wasn't a white guy, he was a Middle Eastern. He fought white guys, he fought the Crusaders, but he was Middle Eastern. And I don't really understand why they had to put him in there. And I was talking to Jared, they should have done Musashi, like the greatest swordsman of all time. Do you know how that cool that could have been? But no, they had to do this random like insert of, hey, guess what? There was a black samurai. I'm like, not really. It's kind of a sad story, honestly.
Yeah, it's not a great story.
No.
So
Ubisoft needs to take a break for a while, because
they really stepped in.
every second they get, they're just offending someone or doing something.
Well, to play slight devil's advocate, just because there are two main characters that I never hear anyone mention, because you do play the main chick in it and him. So I'm like, how much of it is balanced between the two of them? Is she, because she, from the trailer, I got that she was the main character, and that you just like team up with him and like, I don't know how the co-playing works, or like swap between characters or whatnot, but to me it seemed like she was the one you're gonna be upgrading, and she has that weird hidden side blade. So I'm like, I have no idea what that's gonna be about.
The main character. Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, this is the main character, you're a black guy. I'm like, so I was a little confused by that.
IGN is so stepped in it though, because like even like their like initial announcement was like the legendary black samurai Yusuke, and also this other character who's completely fictional. I'm just like, could you not have put it a different way? Like that was so weird. So
it just seems like, man, they could have just had an easy way, just make a game like Ghost of Tsushima. And
how many years have we wanted an Assassin's Creed game inside of Japan? Like since the first one, basically. Like,
well, speaking of Ghost of Tsushima, so the Helldivers controversy didn't quite end when we thought it ended. Because Sony, even though they said you don't need a PSN account, anywhere that doesn't have PSN accounts, like any country, you can't play Helldivers there. So it's kind of weird. So it's like, why did you reverse that, but not reverse it on the countries? So Ghost of Tsushima got kind of caught up in this because they released it on PC, right? And so they didn't release it on PC where you can't have like a PSN network again. So a lot of people can't actually play Ghost of Tsushima on PC if their country isn't in one of those. So,
and it's getting the multiplayer mode.
I think it's for the multiplayer mode. It's because the game's getting very good reviews on PC and people are liking it. But so that kind of PlayStation Network thing is still kind of hanging over the gaming community. So we'll see if that gets resolved again, because they were quick to reverse that when the first controversy came out. So hopefully they'll reverse it again for those countries that don't get to play it. And that is all for the news I have this week. So why don't we get into our homework? Who wants to go first, Jared or Michael? Thomas appears to have left us, so it's between you two.
Left the building.
I
I just have.
You want to talk about
'cause
Super?
I missed space this
Yeah, we
week
got to talk about Super.
because I had the busy weekends. I'm tired of busy weekends. Next weekend, I don't think I have anything planned. And if anyone tries to plan anything, I'm gonna punch them in the face. And it's just things that should have been quick and done, but then they just grew and expanded. I was like, I'm tired of this. Anyway, so yeah, last time we left Super, we were jumping into the power tournament of power arc. Everyone's like, oh, this is better than the rest of Super. And so I'm getting into it. And so at the point where I am, we are fighting the two other Saiyans, the two girl Saiyans, one the Brolette and her girlfriend. Which seeing Broly
Kefla, what is it?
Yeah, it's
Kefla.
Kale.
so they just put on the rings and fuse. So, but we'll get to that. The earrings. But also seeing Broly with lipstick it makes me laugh very hard every time she gets really big. I'm like, just Broly with red lipstick on. Anyway, so get the turn power. I will agree it's better. I'm not gonna say it's good because there's so many frustrating things throughout this. And, oh my god, we'll get to it. But there are good things by Joseph.
People are coming and going.
There are good things about it. Like I put in our chat, the Roshi's fights were actually very interesting. He had a couple episodes where you're just kind of going with him, and they bring back a lot of old moves, which is a lot of fun. Like a lot of people, we're seeing like solar flare all the time. We're seeing some
Destructo Disc.
but I'm going for the after image.
Yeah.
We're seeing that a lot. They're bringing like all the old stops, all the old favorites back with the moves. But so we get sent in there with 10 of our fighters. Krillin, of course, they're trying to talk Krillin up before. It's like, oh, Krillin, we need your brains. We need your strategy for this. Krillin goes in immediately. He gets one guy out of there with some cool strategy, then immediately is out. It's like Krillin, of course, was the first one out. And he, didn't do much at all until Goku's faith in him failed. Who else is out? We've lost Tien. Tien's out. Tien kind of did a few things, but it's like, I'm a little frustrated where it's like, they do a lot of everybody stand around and do nothing because they're trying to focus on the main characters. I'm like, what the heck are Gohan and Piccolo doing right now? Like, I haven't seen them in episodes. I don't know what they're doing. They were fighting two Namekians from another place. I don't know what they're doing. Who else do we have there? We have Frieza in there because, of course, they brought Frieza back. And I was thinking before this, I'm like, why, instead of having Goku bring Frieza in, because it was so freaking stupid how they did that, why not have it be like, hey, make it a desperate choice. Make it be like, hey, we need 10 fighters, and they and like at the end, like they're like, we need one more fighter. What are we gonna do? And then they're like, oh, did we not mention you could bring anyone alive or dead? And so they're like, oh, well, Beerus would be like, well, we're taking him because he's strong or something like that. I don't know, something a little more creative than Goku bringing him in and being this dumb. Anyway, I hate it. Who else do we have? Gohan has so far been just poo-poo land, dumb. He hasn't done anything interesting. All of his fights are just terrible, which I will say the super fights in Tournament of Power have been more interesting. They've been creative. They've done cool things. I've enjoyed that. That has been good. Anyone else that has done anything of note?
You like Master Roshi, right?
I did say Master Roshi while you were gone. Master Roshi had some good episodes. Okay. He was fighting some people using it. He was fighting, it's not Freezer. What is his name? Frost. Which I'm like, it's why did they call him like if Frieza? They could just call him Freezer. That'd have been funny. Anyway, so we do all that, but then there's just a few outstanding absurdities in this show because we're getting into the lead up to where the stupid other Saiyans are getting in it. And I messaged you guys. Did I bring up back tingles last time?
Yeah,
I did bring it up. We talked about back tingles. Yeah. Okay, I couldn't remember if I did or not.
Oh, on the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. Did we bring up the podcast? Is my question.
Not in the podcast.
Okay,
not in the podcast. Just in the chat. Yeah.
Like I have thought most of this show has been bad and stupid, but I have rarely been offended by this show. And when they dwindle down Goku's initial Frieza transformation, when Krillin gets taken out and he goes crazy Super Saiyan, it's like literally the greatest moment in Dragon Ball Z history, apart from
TV history.
That, and then the second to Gohan fighting Cell. It's like to break that down to ASMR is insane to me. So Thomas, what happens in the show is the other Saiyan that met Vegeta in an earlier tournament is teaching his buddies in his world who have to come fight in the Tournament of Power how to become Super Saiyans.
What the heck is that guy's name?
Kappa, Koopa, Karina.
Papa.
I don't know. I think it's
I don't
Kappa.
remember.
Anyway, they all have weird names. None of them make sense except for Coral. I keep thinking I'm like anyway. And so he's telling him, Thomas. He's like, well, you got to channel your anger. He's like, I don't know. I just kind of get back tingles. And I was like, huh? And he's like, yeah, there's back tingles in the middle of your back, and you kind of feel it, and they do this little shake, and there's little glowy sparkles, and they're like, and then you become Super Saiyan. And so what do his friends do? They're like, I don't feel like getting angry, so I'm just gonna feel for I'm gonna wiggle around a little bit and just wait for some back tingle. I'm gonna listen to some scratching. Ready, Thomas? Ready? You Super Saiyan yet?
I can't hear it.
Oh, dang it. Anyway, my noise
So,
gate's
quick question. Was Dwight trying to give Michael Super Saiyan powers when he's like, do you want to give me in the office? Do you want me to give you the tingles? Like, yeah, if you don't.
Basically,
like,
that's
spiders down your back, spiders down your back, egg crack all over your head.
That's pretty much
is that what it is?
What they dwindled down turning Super Saiyan into was ASMR back tingles. And I was so utterly angry that I was like, I might not finish this show. What was the other thing?
Which was handled a lot better in Z, because the only time they talk about power and what it feels like is when he's teaching Videl how to fly.
That's exactly.
And he's like, basically, you feel it in the center and you let it radiate out.
It was great. And it's just like about them using their energy. It's not about becoming this legendary power of like it's unlocked and unleashed. I don't know. I was so angry at this point, and the fact of them, I've watched a lot since I've been here on last. So yeah, it was all the Frieza stuff coming back, and I got really angry about that. And then it's just bad. It's super bad. Anyway, a few more things I want to touch on in this. So far we've had Goku fighting a bunch of people. He and the only one that's kind of notable because he just kind of goes ha 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 everywhere to everybody. But then he goes and fights purple bald-headed bug-eyed Jiren man. Looks like he's from Lilo and Stitch. He's the biggest baddie of Universe 11 or something like that, or 2. One of them. I think it's 11.
He's a hero.
He's a hero. That's true. But he's the big bad of the tournament. Like he's the guy no one's gonna touch. And so, excuse me, that might have been audible. And so it comes to the point where throughout all of Super, everyone's just gets stronger as it happens. Thomas, it's just like, oh, we need to be stronger, so you are now. Congratulations, poof, plot hole. You are now stronger. It comes to the point where Goku's fighting Jiren, and like he goes through his initial. It does it pretty quickly. I'll give it that. He goes regular, tries to punch him, can't do anything. Super Saiyan, quick, can't do anything. Super Saiyan 2, can't do anything. 3, God mode. And for some reason, they just like split it up. They're like, no more like just blue. You're going to go God mode first, then blue. So we feel like we have more stages. That came out of nowhere. It just happened. And so he literally can't do anything, this guy, Jared, Thomas, whatever your name is. And so he's punching Jiren, and Jiren's doing nothing. And then so he's like, well, I got one more thing. And you know the giant arc in Frieza when he's like, I got to make a spirit bomb that's strong enough to beat Frieza. He goes and stands on a rock and he goes, I need a spirit bomb. And his teammates go, okay, sure. Poof. And he has a spirit bomb in 3 seconds like that. So that might be good for some people, but it's real dumb. And so he throws.
Doesn't it take time to charge?
Yes.
He didn't even get that baby turtle.
He didn't get no baby turtle powers.
That baby
poor deer.
Yeah, that deer just died.
And so,
did he?
So he throws a spirit ball at Jiren, and then Jiren and him fight for it, whatever. And then Goku fails, and it just like blows up, and Goku falls into it.
Which is kind of dumb to use because that's for evil, the spirit bomb, and
Jiren's good.
Supposedly a hero in his universe.
They're basically like the Incredibles, but from a different universe and more alien. Anyway, so and then it's just like I put in the chat, I was like, you're stronger just because he comes back. There's no explanation to this whatsoever. But Whis freaks out and he's like, oh, he's become, what do they call it?
Ultra Instinct.
Oh,
he calls it something autonomous or something like that.
Yeah, autonomous reaction something mode.
Yeah.
Anyway, Goku just comes back and he like holds his own against Jiren for like 10 minutes. And it's just...
Is this one of those moments of, poof, you're more powerful now?
But it's like, it's way beyond that. Because, I mean, this guy literally could not be touched by Goku. Like, uber, ultra, big time, the best Goku could be. He could not be touched. And then it's just like, the absurdity of him jumping this far, this fast. Like, I don't know, man. It's killing me. I am waiting for many explanations at the end of the series that I have hunches about. I've said that in the chat. But I don't know. It's just like, so far, this arc has just been... It's just been the
Remember when they
absurdities
had
of
to
Super
fly the
extreme.
Namek and they had to work out in that chamber?
Yeah, that's what Jackson texted me. He's like, "Where are you at?" 'Cause we were complaining about it, and I was like, "Dude, nothing in the show is earned whatsoever. It's just ridiculous." So now, yeah, so like I said, Goku's fighting the Jiren won basically, and then he went and sat down because like I don't need to fight anymore. So excuses for everyone else to go fight. So everyone's fighting. Vegeta fought a fat lady for a very long time. And now Goku's fighting the two other Saiyans who put on the earrings and then fused into Kalap or whatever the heck her name is. But I'm like, isn't that cheating though? Because you're not supposed to have any stuff in the
no
outside stuff.
items.
So I'm like, I'm assuming the next episode they're going to get kicked out or disqualified. I don't know. I can't wait for the show to be over. I have probably 15 episodes left. It's bad. This arc is better, but still bad. Because nothing earns itself whatsoever. The only interest is like kind of with the callbacks and throwbacks. I can't wait to be done with this. You guys got to start thinking of recommendations for a good anime because I'm just
We just need that Jakku anime.
It's killing me. This anime has defeated me at this point. Like I literally just start laughing at it now when dumb things happen. I don't even get angry anymore. I'm just like sadly laughing into my wine glass as it.
Have you seen any of Inuyasha?
I've never seen Inuyasha, no.
Okay.
So I'm sad, guys. I'm defeated.
We should get Jackson to show him
I don't know. I'm done.
So Whis calls it autonomous Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
I don't know why he does that, but
well, like he hints at that whenever he's training Goku and Vegeta in the beginning of the series, but it's not touched on at all. And then Goku just learns it, and then he forgets it. If I didn't mention that, Thomas, he forgets it. So now he's bad. He's not as strong as Jiren anymore. And so we're like,
and I never got over why they can use God form when in the previous arc they had to have, was it 5 Super Saiyans?
Yeah,
5 Saiyans.
Because
5 Saiyans,
they explain that in the show because he got the taste of it, so now he can.
Yeah, he's felt it, so now he can do it.
He sniffed it.
Stupid.
But then Vegeta learns it by himself. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So it's
cool that they hint at Ultra Instinct, and then they also hint at something that, well, you don't care about Super, and you probably won't get to that part if they ever animate it. They hint at Goku becoming an angel, where he's getting Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta's showing destruction power, so he's getting a destroyer power, like Eurus.
Angel is above God now.
Oh yeah, that's kind of my big theory. Is all of them are in on it, and the two little overseers are just fake, in my opinion. We'll see what happens at the end. That's my guess at this point, is that they aren't actually, because there's one point where Whis and them are watching something happen. Like, I couldn't even say that happened because it was so fast. I couldn't see it either because they have to repeat everything they say. And I'm about to kill those two little bug-eyed freaks, but I'm done with the show, guys. 15 episodes. I'll be done with it next time, and then it's done, man. Holy! Although they did just put Broly on Hulu, so that's good timing.
I saw that.
I was like, oh, really? Good timing. I can watch that movie and wipe.
They heard
clean.
you. They heard you like, man, I hate this.
Man,
someone's crying out for Broly.
Someone needs a good Broly movie. All right.
But then you get to watch Rings of Power pretty soon.
Dang, don't kick him when he's down.
He's trying to kill Michael at this point.
I need something, because the end of Hunter x Hunter and then this show have just been rough for me, man. I need something.
But you got
good
Soul Leveling in there.
Oh my god, that show's so good. But that was so fast and gone. I'm sad. And then
I know.
I still haven't started Doctor Who because I'm afraid of how bad it's probably going to be. My hero is here. I'm going to wait till after I finish Super to kind of just catch up, because that'll take half a second, because it'll be addicting, and then I'll be sad because I don't have any more.
Dude, I need you guys to just switch to sub, because something happened. I want to talk.
You don't get to talk.
I know.
You should wait. Watch it with us.
Does Carlos watch My Hero?
Yeah, he watches it sub.
He only watches sub,
but he hasn't caught up yet, so I can't.
So you're alone.
Do it.
Jonah watches it sub.
Yeah, he didn't watch the newest episode though. I watch it the second it comes out, guys. You want me to go next?
He doesn't care.
He says, I got a text.
He acknowledged that you said something, but he still didn't say anything. Like,
what?
All right, Jerry, go ahead.
All right, so it was fun talking about anime, so I'll continue. First off, I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, part, what is it, 6, Stone Ocean, when it first aired on Netflix. They showed 12 episodes and they had like a hiatus or like a pause, and I never went back. So I continued. I'm going back. The first bad guy that they're fighting, because in JoJo it's like a big puzzle how to beat a bad guy. So
I thought
fighting
you
a bad
said
guy takes like
I was like, the first what now?
Whoa.
such a cheat. Anyway, so it always takes like 3 episodes, and the bad guy in this is Limp Bizkit. But you know how
Close.
localization or like trademark, they can't say Limp Bizkit, so it's Limp Bizkit. And I was like, okay, yeah.
Why did you say
Does he have a mother epping chainsaw?
No, Thomas.
Dang it!
Usually their powers have nothing to do with the actual musical reference.
I know nothing about JoJo, so I'm very confused.
It started off as big men fighting each other, and then eventually it evolved into they have stands, which is like these ghost alien things that are manifest from their
It's
power.
weird, Michael.
And it eventually becomes like little puzzles on how to fight each other, because they have rules and like limitations that they have to work with, and so they're like little puzzles that you have to figure out with the main character. And
They
there's a
do
lot of nanis going on, because it's so real fast. Sorry, Thomas.
Okay.
I was watching this dubbed. Originally, I was watching it subbed because I like the sub, but I watched it dubbed because I was doing stuff and I just wanted to hear it and kind of go through it. Not as good. It doesn't translate well. And then they had Dio on there. I had no idea he was in this freaking season. I saw him and I was like, yes. But his
So-
voice actor, which is a good voice actor, like he's one of the main guys that they always give for like a cool, impressive guy. It is not Dio's voice. It is not the true Dio's voice.
What?
The Japanese guy, that guy is perfection. Never watch this dub because it just does not equal.
Okay, Michael,
Hmm.
Dio is the only thing I know about JoJo. It's because Jared showed me, and he's like the most ridiculous villain of all time.
He's like perfect
Okay.
Cell.
You can't stop watching him though, because he's so entertaining.
Huh.
And
He is literally perfect Cell.
yeah, and he showed me it randomly. I'm like, what is this about? He's like, and he tried to explain it to me. I'm like, I am not interested at all in this show, but I want to watch this villain. And he's hilarious. He's hilarious and horrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
He's so weird.
And
but-
so fabulous.
yes. He's like a gay vampire, if I'm not mistaken.
He is a
But-
vampire.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The vampire is like
I
the
do like vampires.
least interesting thing about him, honestly.
Yeah.
But he's and again, this is all like what Jared showed me. I know nothing else about JoJo. Just this fight.
Some things are hard to explain. I don't think I could ever
Yeah.
explain it unless you watch like
Yeah.
half
and,
of it.
And I just remember watching some of it with him. I'm like, this is weird, but I'm kind of enjoying this. So good on you, Jared.
Because there's a point where Dio takes over Jotaro's dad's body, and you're like, what the heck? Anyway, I'm continuing that. Hope to finish it soon.
Are you gonna do JoJo poses at the gym?
No, that hurts. That would break my spine. And then I'm continuing something else. I got back to Zeta. And I watched about like 10 episodes, so I'm like on episode 30. There's a cool title, The Shadow of Xeon, or the something like that. It was really cool. I was like, oh, that's cool. These people love war crimes. I was watching this and I was like, another chemical attack, another biological attack. I was like, geez,
Is this
man.
24?
I was like,
Well-
calm down.
Jared, I told you in the chat, it's like, dude, like the main premise of the first series was they have child soldiers. That's literally the whole series.
And I told you, Thomas, in Japan, that's an adult 15. They're driving mechs. They're fine. Anyway, it's a lot of drama. Trey's is still good. I know that's his Gundam Wing name, but
Yes, I know.
but still good. Got
Did
20 episodes to go.
Did Quattro and
Who's that man?
Who's that man? Did he give his speech yet?
Speech about to who?
Okay, never mind. You'll know it when it happens.
Okay.
But yeah, I do love that part though. And this is pretty much all of Zeta. Like, who is Quattro Vagina? It's like,
I love when
really?
Quattro talks
Really?
about himself.
Char was a great man.
Char is a great pilot, dude.
Could have outdone Amuro anytime. Anytime.
He's the best new time, man. I just can't get enough. Anyway, I finished Ninja Kamui finally finished. That was such a dip in quality. It started off good. I liked it. I know Michael didn't really care for it, but I thought it reminded me of like
it was bad.
2005. Yeah. But it reminded me of 2005, that era of like Adult Swim. I enjoyed it. But then they got mech suits, like power suits. Not mech suits, power suits. And I was like, I don't like this as much.
Did it go super CGI?
It kind of... There's a lot of CGI in the beginning, but with the power suits, it was like, oh.
Because I keep getting like Instagram reels of stuff like that. I'm like, is this Ninja Kamui? Because this doesn't look like the stuff they showed at the beginning. So I was kind of confused.
And I'm sorry, I'm not one of those people that just there's a bad actor and they're like, oh, it was just the writing. No, this lady could not read. They could not voice act. She sounded like she was reading from a book. The main character's wife. Every time she talks, it sounded like she was reading from a book. I was like, she is not a good voice actor. I'm sorry, but she kind of ruined it. The anime kind of dipped, and I don't think it was that good. And then I'm continuing the rest, like
Hi, Joe.
Bartender and all that. But then what premiered was Smiling Friends Season 2. And I watched the first 2 episodes. And they're good. They weren't like, but they were good. And I can't wait to see the rest. But that's enough of anime. Let's get out of here.
Get out of anime town.
Next is real fast music. Had another recommendation from someone at work, artist called Jid. He's like, you might like this. I've been listening to it. Give it a shot. And so I listened to the Forever Story, which is the album name. Not really my thing, but not bad. You guys probably heard like the main single off there is in a lot of memes and stuff like that. So, or a lot of like YouTube reels. But not really my thing. Not bad. And then go to YouTube. There's a channel called The Strumbo Show. It's I forget the guy's name, Greg Strumbo. He's like a producer, and he has like concerts in his house. And so I watched 2. The first one was Death from Above. They had a concert on there, which was really good. And then Billy Talent had a concert on there, also very good.
Is this the guy that had Kenny Loggins at his house?
No, that's Daryl.
Okay, that was
Daryl
from Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates. Sorry, my bad.
And then there is a YouTuber called Culture Crusader, which does a lot of anime stuff. And he had a video called "This Anime is Edgy Garbage and I Love It," which is about the anime The Kingdom of Ruin. I haven't seen it. I've seen like video or like memes and stuff about it, but he was just like, man, this guy's edgy. And he's just going over it and why it's garbage, but also it's fun garbage. So that was a good watch. And then I watched a YouTuber called Monkey Ness. And his video was the story that inspired Mother 3. And so Mother 3 was inspired by a trilogy of books by Agota Christoph. I don't know how to say Russian names or stuff like that. But the trilogy is The Notebook, The Proof, and The Third Lie. And it just goes over these twins, Lucas and Klaus, and their struggles, and how it kind of mirrors the Mother 3 story. And they're showing you kind of like where it differs and where there's similarities, which is a really cool video. I didn't know it was based off anything. And then I watched like almost a 3-hour video of Summoning Salt, but she does a lot of like the speed run stuff and like world records of speed running. He did the history of Tetris world records. This was awesome. It's crazy what players had to do to get these records. And then, so you guys probably remember in the beginning of the year, they're like, this 13-year-old finally beat Tetris. And I was like, what a kid. And I hate him more now after watching this video because there was this one speedrunner or world record guy who had like the most world records in Tetris. He was like, the score thing is getting out of hand. I wanted to kind of do my own thing, be the best at it. So he figured out if you get to a certain level, it just crashes the game. So that would be the theoretical end of Tetris. And so he started to work towards it. And then this 13-year-old comes and does it right before him. And I was like, oh my God.
Took his thunder.
Stepping on the backs of giants.
But how to get there and what they had to do was insane. And then I was like, that's where it ends because we just heard about that. And then it kept going. And I was like, what is this about? This one guy, because there's two versions, or the one that they beat is the cartridge version that was sold everywhere. And since it's so old and the programming is a bit older, they can't handle going to that level. And that's why it crashes. But there is an update that is it's updated so it can go beyond that and it can theoretically go infinitely.
Plus Ultra.
Goku the video game.
But this one kid, he's like, I can't remember exactly, but he wanted to get as far as possible. But there's this one level where it glitches out. And that level, you have to clear like 8,000 lines. So usually a level changes every 10 lines that you clear. So this one has 8,000. And so he's just marathoning this level. And he gets pretty far, but it's not 8,000. But he was like, I did it. He had like what was it? The highest score at that time before they tried that was like 6 million. And then he went like way beyond that. So I was like, dang, that kid. And then the last thing I watched, not really epic as that, but it was Wolfie VGC, which is he plays Pokemon competitively. And so he had a video that what is the best bug type to play competitively, because bug type is super weak in the Pokemon narrative. They have so much weakness, or they're vulnerable to a lot of stuff, so they're not very good to use. And then he just goes over like the best and which one you should actually use, or which ones actually won in tournaments. That's all for me this week.
Guess I'll go since Joseph is dealing with a situation. I guess
Situation has occurred.
I was gonna say, is it that guy from the Jersey Shore with the abs? So, the situation. That's a Rooster Teeth reference too, by the way. So
R.I.P. Officially
gonna
now.
start. Gonna start off with some YouTubes. Watched Donut Operator, and he did a police breakdown video.
Never gonna get used to that name. I'm sorry.
I know, it's pretty awesome. So he did a video breakdown of a police altercation in Arlington, Texas. And this was right down the street from where I lived. Like, I know the street that they're on. I know the apartments that they're in. I was like, that's kind of weird to see. Jared, do you remember that Tom Thumb on the way back to the house on that one road?
From the gym?
Yeah. Like right next to the gym. So do you remember those apartment complexes right across the road from that?
Yeah.
That's where it was at. And he was like running out like on the side of the road. I was like, oh my God, that's right where I lived. So it was kind of weird to see. It's just very surreal.
Yeah.
They ended up just tasering the guys, which is good for them.
It's my taser noise.
Well, they actually shot him with a rubber bullet too. So Fat Electrician has a no, you can't get used to these names, can you, Michael?
I don't think I've heard that one before.
Well, he's that historian guy that I like. And he has another side channel called the Fat Files. He
pretty
does these like weird breakdowns of certain companies. He did one of Aldi and why it's the greatest supermarket chain ever invented, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Dude, I miss living down the street from one.
I so miss that, Jared. It was so nice. It's like, okay, basically it's a convenience store, Michael, but it's a grocery store. And you're in, out, you don't even have to think. It's so nice. And the prices, Michael, the prices, so cheap, so cheap. But he also did one on Chick-fil-A and how I'm trying to get my numbers right here. For McDonald's, because McDonald's is like the number one operating company in the world. Number 2 is Starbucks. Number 3 is Chick-fil-A when it comes to like restaurants.
Jeez.
The thing is,
Freaking chicken.
McDonald's has like 40,000 stores across hundreds of countries, right? Same with Starbucks. Starbucks has like 28,000 stores. Do you know how many stores Chick-fil-A has? Less than 3,000, and they are number 3.
Jeez, people. It's some sort of wacky cult thing, man. It's crazy.
Well, he broke it down to it basically comes down to menu fatigue. Like, because Chick-fil-A has 11 things on their menu. That's it. And they always stick with it. They have consistency, they have good training, they pay really well. And not only that, but their structure for ownership, someone never fully owns a Chick-fil-A. They are called the operator. And the only way that they can do it is by going through an interview process with Chick-fil-A. And the thing is, this is what's kind of cool about the company. The first people that they look at, the people that are applying for operatorship, they always look at internal people first.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've worked your way up from the guy out in the parking lot to a manager and you want to apply to be an operator, you are looked at first before everybody else. And I'm like, that's a cool business strategy because you are really incentivizing people who work for you to work even harder, because each Chick-fil-A, like per year, pulls in like $4 to $5 million. And that's just like in like basic one, like the lowest earning one.
I mean, they get them through there so darn fast, man. Like, there's one. I've only been to a Chick-fil-A. I could probably count on my 2 hands how many times I've been to a Chick-fil-A in my life.
I go all the time,
and I wouldn't take all my fingers. But I went during lunch one time. Yeah, take that how you will. I went for lunch one time, and it was like peak 12:30. I was like, okay, there's one down the road, and I go, and I was like, oh my god! And I've never been through a Chick-fil-A line before. They are so busy, it is out the freaking wazoo.
Yep.
And I was out of there within 3 minutes. I was like, oh my! I was like, I think I said to the lady, I was like, what is this operation? I was like, what is happening right now? And she's like, all right, bye. I was like.
and that's part of it, is that they always have consistency. They have one product really, which is the fried chicken, and then they have the one grilled chicken sandwich and grilled nuggets. That's it. That is all they have. So everything is it's a 2-step operation, and so they're just made to go fast.
Is there an anime about a fast food chain like that wants to be the best? Because there should be, and it should be about Chick-fil-A. Because
there's
hilarious.
a game. There's a game where you can run a ramen shop.
We need an anime that it's like trying to be the best and most accomplished fast food chain.
There's got to be. There's got to be,
right?
But what's also kind of fascinating about Chick-fil-A is that they can be put up anywhere. The operator has complete say. Once they get the operator approval, they can put it up anywhere they want. McDonald's does not. They had to strategically place a McDonald's to have foot traffic, car traffic, and rush hour traffic. Like they'll literally put somebody on a corner of an intersection and count how many cars go through an hour. And if a certain criteria isn't met, McDonald's will not allow that McDonald's to be built there. The thing is with Chick-fil-A, it does not matter. If you put a Chick-fil-A somewhere, you're gonna get a line around the corner.
If we build it, they will come.
No, that's what he said. He's like, they go by the Field of Dreams business acumen. If you build it, people will show up. And if you go to any Chick-fil-A, lines are in the street. That's how long they are. Like, this is crazy. But I was completely fascinated by this. It was a very interesting video.
That one off 66 kills me. I'm like,
Oh, I know.
that's the worst location.
No, the worst location is the one on slide 66.
Yeah.
That is the worst
I'm just
spot.
like, God, it's like, and
Like-
people trying to go turn left through there. I'm like, you're never going to
Yeah.
make it. Let's turn around.
Trying to people like getting out a cross slide
Yeah,
at
I'm
5 p.m. I'm like, you're
never
stupid.
going to
You
make
are-
it.
You are literally the dumbest person I've ever met.
They're just like, I don't want to go back to work. I'm trying to go left.
I've got I spent 3 minutes going to Chick-fil-A. I got an hour to kill now, so I guess I'll try
Yeah,
to
there
turn
you go.
left across slide. So I went to his main channel, the Fat Electrician, and he had this video about, it's called the Old 66. It was a bomber in World War II that was made up of like all these reject pilots and like navigators and gunners. But the thing is, they were extremely good at their job, but nobody liked them. And so they're like, well, we don't like anybody else either, so we'll just kind of do our own thing. So they're supposed to get assigned a bomber. Well, they don't get assigned a bomber. They're still a flight wing, but they're not assigned a bomber. And so the captain's is like, screw it, we'll build our own. So what they do is they build a better B-17, upgrade all the armor. They put 50 cal machine guns in there. They put 19 50 cal machine guns in there, which I can't even imagine the noise. And basically they just run roughshod over Japan. Like, they are the most deadly bomber in history, besides the one that dropped the atomic bombs. But they also were credited with like 40 kills in the air. And so like all their gunners are aces, basically. Even the pilot was able to shoot down zeros because they mounted twin 50 cals to the front of the plane, and the Japanese like guy would come. He's like, oh, screw it, I have a gun. Kills him. It's like, cool. But these guys were nuts, absolutely insane. And then another World War II story. It's called Hobo's Funnies. I know it's a ridiculous sounding name. Basically, this guy invented tank warfare, and he made all these very elaborate tanks to do a specific job, and they really worked. But the reason why nobody really knows of them is because they work so well, and nobody like acknowledges that anything went wrong. They didn't get any press because nothing went wrong. Everything went great. Cool. Awesome. It's a whole story. Like, basically the entire chain of command wanted to fire this guy. They even demoted him one time because he was a lieutenant general, and they made him forcibly retire, and they put him in the Home Guard in England, and they demoted him from a general all the way down to a corporal, which I can't really tell you how far that is, but it's basically being like the general manager of a store, and now you're the guy that is sacking groceries, is how far they sent him down. But World War II kicked off, and they're like, hey, we kind of need you again. And so went back in there, and he did amazing work. And then the last one that he did, it's honestly one of my favorite stories. It's about Sam Whitmore. It's a revolutionary guy. He was a 71-year-old man who fought off the British in his home yard during the Revolutionary War. So basically, he took out his 2 pistols, his musket, and his sword, and basically told the British to get off my lawn. Killed 3 British soldiers with a musket, the 2 pistols, and then he attempted to charge the British, slashed one, was shot in the face. Again, he's 71 years old, and then was stabbed 13 times by the Redcoats. The thing is, he lived for another 18 years afterwards. And what's so weird about this is that he's so old, because 1776, being 71 years old, that's a long time, right? Like, to live back then. So he had 150 living descendants at this time. So literally, when he got stabbed, like, and shot, a whole town showed up going, save grandpa, please. Please save grandpa. And then he lived. He's like, yep, I would have shot more, but I didn't have any more ammo in my musket. So, but he's just like, guy was insane and pretty bad A. And then he went on to live like another 18 years. And yeah, so cool guy. And then I watched Papa Meat. which is a very interesting experience this week because he did Indian street foods. That is one of the grossest videos I've ever seen. Like, I do not recommend watching that if you do not have a strong stomach. Like, it got ridiculous. And Jared, did you watch it too?
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think I can deal with the body parts one because there's an armpit one and there's a foot one.
The foot one is the one that kind of got me. I'm just like, why? Why are you doing that? And the French fries and the soup, I was just like, God. It was bad, Michael. It's very bad. Don't watch it. I mean, you can watch it. I don't care, but it's gross. And then I watched some Super Eye Patch Wolf, Jared. I watched his wrestling videos. I've never watched those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the links that people go to follow these stories. Like, it is beyond devotional, beyond like obsession. These guys are just, they almost like worship wrestling. And I'm not sure why. He had like, again, like 4 videos that are over an hour long each. And I still don't understand why they are obsessed with this. Like, I can't. I mean, what do you think, Jared?
I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm tempted to like just start watching it, but unfortunately, they only have like season 12 through current
wrestling. Thomas,
Michael, you watch all of Super, and
I know, but wrestling, it's infinite. It doesn't. It's been forever, and it will be forever. And it terrifies me.
Never go away. 'Tis immortal. But yeah, just very fascinating. But again, I don't get it, guys. I really don't. Okay, so that's all of YouTube. So I also watched a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I kind of stopped at one point, and then I decided I've never seen past season 4. I'll see what happens. Have you guys seen any past that?
I've seen all of it.
Okay. There is a severe dip in quality after like the 5th season.
How many are there?
Like 8.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't even distinguish them all. I kind of binge watched it. So,
well, even like the last season was it was bad. That's really bad.
The beginning of the last season was bad because they tried to bring in politics. I think it ended well though. I feel like the ending where it culminated and everything, I was like, okay, that was good. But because again, they started ignoring like reality. I'm like, that was the big point over. It's like, I don't want this in TV. This is my turn off brain laugh at dumb people show.
And that's the biggest thing that I found with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Right, is that it doesn't separate the real thing from this little, because the best way I described it was we don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine for a cop procedural. We watch it to watch the characters and the funny thing. It's the same thing with Parks and Rec, same creators. We don't watch it to watch like local government. We watch it to watch Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope and Ben and Andy. Like we like those characters, but they're set in a government like spot. We don't watch it for, you know what? I wonder if it is a municipal court issue this time. And so when they brought in a lot of those real world politics for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it did not mesh at all. It was very preachy. And the fact that they got Rosa to do it too, which I thought was kind of stupid. She's like, I can't believe
the rebel kind of.
Yeah, she's like, I can't believe all these cops are brutalizing these people. I'm like, didn't you pull out a giant like Bowie knife and threaten a subject a while back? Like, what the hell?
True.
And so it didn't make any sense. Okay. And what really pissed me off was Amy and Jake's relationship. There's one part where I was furious actually, was when they're talking about having kids, and Jake's like, I don't know if I'm capable of having kids, like, or being a father. Like I have severe issues because of my father. And Amy's is like, well, how long do you think it's going to take you to realize if you want kids or not? And he's like, I don't know, like maybe 1 or 2 years at the least. And she's like, well, at 2 years, I don't want to start over again. And he's like, start over? Like, you would divorce me because I don't want to have kids? She's like, yeah. And then they kind of go along with it like she's the one in the right. I'm just like, that's not a good thing. Like, you are manipulating your partner like you are emotionally manipulating your partner to do what you want. I'm like, that is terrible. That is a really horrible thing to do to somebody, especially when someone's like going through emotional trauma and doesn't know how to deal with it. Because I mean, I like Jake's dad; he's funny, but you do understand that he has messed up a lot from that. But I was so mad at that. Looking at that, I was like, this isn't cool. Like, I don't know. This is not a healthy relationship, and that is a terrible thing to do to a guy. So, I don't know. Did you see that one, Jared? I don't know if you saw.
That's
that.
where I kind of stopped.
Yeah, that's where I stopped too. I was just like, that's a terrible thing to say to a guy. And so, but I mean, there are some good parts, like the Halloween heists are always fun. Um, Hitchcock and Scully, honestly, are my favorite parts of the show. I like it because they're honestly like the best detectives in like the 9-9, but they're so old they just don't care. They're like, oh, like we could have solved that, but we have a chair. Why would we get out of the chair? So I don't know. Like it's one of those things where like The Office and Parks and Rec, I'm always happy when it ended. This one, I was just so mad about everything going on. I'm just like, you guys don't mesh like anymore. Like you're all messed up. And like I don't think you guys are actually healthy to be around each other. So, and also with Jake being a house husband now, I'm just like, Jake always wanted to be a cop and now he has to be a house husband because Amy wants to be whatever captain. I'm like, well, thanks. You know, it's also putting your partner's wants and needs before your own, or sorry, after your own. And so I'm like, cool. Wouldn't be realistic to have both parents working in today's environment, but whatever. So this is a big letdown. And again, some really bad taste in my mouth. I just did not like it. So, and then we have my book movie review. So, oh, Jared, edit some streamers in.
I don't edit these.
Dang it.
And I ain't doing that.
Michael, no. Oh. Okay. So I read The Ritual. Have you guys heard of that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Don't know anything
horror
about it, but I've
movie
heard about it.
on Netflix. It's about these guys that go into the woods and trying to have like a bonding experience, but they take a shortcut through some Swedish woods and it does not go well. The book and the movie are very similar, but they also have some key points that are very different. In the movie, spoilers, do you guys care?
I've seen the movie.
You've seen the movie. The book honestly is not as good as the movie. I thought the movie was a lot better.
Really?
Mostly because I know, right? Well, there's a part in the movie where the main character, you see it through a flashback. He and his friend are at a liquor store, and it's robbed. Well, the friend finds cover behind one of the aisles, and I'm sorry. The main character finds cover behind one of the aisles, and the friend's left out in the open. Well, these robbers come in with like machetes and stuff, and they threaten the guy. And instead of doing anything or helping his friend, he lets them kill him. Like they see him he gets killed in front of the main character. And so there's a lot of guilt. Hey, Joseph's back.
Back.
There's a lot of guilt that is basically hovering over the main character throughout the entire movie. And the monster is honestly a little cooler in the movie because it's called a Jotun, which is a descendant of Loki. It's a giant. And the design for the monster is awesome. It is so freaking cool. But in the book, it's supposed to be like an eldritch horror from like H.P. Lovecraft. It does not fit with Sweden at all. So it just wasn't as good. But the movie is honestly really, really good. One of the better horror movies to come out in a while, and also from Netflix. So I mean, that's kind of a shocker. Do you have any thoughts on the movie, Jared?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I do remember that the monster design was awesome. I feel like I don't remember.
Okay. I honestly recommend the movie. I mean, the book was all right. It wasn't a bad book. It wasn't as good as the movie. The movie was honestly a lot scarier than the book. So, and that's all I got. So I didn't watch any anime this week because I'm going through finals, and so I'm trying to have anything that'll. I know I do. Stupid Japanese. You know what? I'm gonna have to go to Japan and give them a piece of my mind. That's what I'm gonna do this December. I'm gonna go there. So,
all right,
Joseph,
Yeah, back just in time. So, what did I watch? We finished, me and Jonah are going through the DC animated universe. So, we finished Batman season 2 and we're like, hey, let's go over to Superman now. So, we went to Superman, the animated series. Man, I love this series. Superman, the animated series, has the best take on his villains. Toyman is creepy as heck. Parasite looks awesome.
I love Parasite.
Lobo's there. Jared loves Lobo. He's
The
there,
main
the
man.
main man. Brainiac. This is the best Brainiac. I love this version of Brainiac. I love the version they do for the origin of Superman. How Brainiac's kind of at fault for it because, like in the early ones, Brainiac's just like this weird alien scientist that hates Superman. But on this, they kind of tie Brainiac to the destruction of Krypton, which is cool. So enjoying that. We'll watch that. Then we'll try to watch Batman and Robin Sub-Zero. Then we kind of mix in Superman season 2 with the last season of Batman. And so that's the plan so far. I didn't do much. I watched 2 movies on Netflix. One was called The Rental. This is Dave Franco's first directorial debut, and it's hard to describe this movie. It's a slasher movie for people who don't like gore, I guess you could say, because the bloodiest thing that happens is like a guy gets hit in the head with a hammer. The first part of this movie it stars that guy from The Bear, Jeremy Allen White, I think is his name. And Alison Brie, I think, is the other person. The other 2 people I don't know. And this is pretty much the most annoying millennials you can think of decide to get a Airbnb. Man, I know there's like a tradition in slashers to make the people unlikable so that you don't feel too guilty when they get killed. But dang, man, this one lady in it, because it's about 2 couples, and each couple has like a terrible partner. One partner is okay, and then the other partner is just garbage. And man, this one lady, they're like, oh, she's so perfect. I'm just so inspired by her. And you're like, oh, I just want to barf. So
I can't wait till she gets slashed.
Yeah, and she's the last one, of course. She's the last girl. But so the first part of the movie is just all about this kind of mix up they have, and they're having affairs, and they're terrible people,
Pillowing.
and yeah, they're pillowing with each other.
You really adopted that saying,
I
Michael.
love it, man.
He loves that saying. So the 2 have an affair in the shower, and then when they get out, they find out there's a camera in their shower, and they're like, "Oh, dang,
That's the loudest place to have an affair. Everything echoes.
Well, the other 2 went on a hike. So luckily, the guy from The Bear and Alison Brie are the nice couple that you kind of like. I mean, they're not great, but you still kind of like them more than the
They're
other
not
2.
those guys.
Yeah, they're not the ones having an affair in the shower.
Better by default.
And then he brings his dog, even though there's no dogs allowed, guys, at this Airbnb. So
No
they have to
pups.
hide the dog. I don't know where they hide it. I guess they put it in the trunk, which seems really bad for dogs. But they gotta hide it while they're talking to the guy. So they go on a hike. They have an affair in the shower. They find out there's a camera in all the showers, and they're like, "Oh, dang!" They're more worried about destroying the evidence because at first the girl's like, "We gotta go to the cops and tell them he was recording." He's like, "We can't go to the cops because the affair will come out, and we're worried about that." And then the dog disappears, and that's when they're like, "Uh-oh, something bad's going on," because the dog's disappeared. And the guy from The Bear, he plays this kind of hot-headed guy, like he kind of does all the time, and he's real angry. So the Airbnb guy comes.
Where's my dog, cousin?
He's there to fix the hot tub. Yeah, and basically he does that. He's like, "Where's my dog? Just take my dog." I don't know. Is anyone going to watch this? I could spoil the whole thing if you want. So,
Not if it's not bloody.
yeah, it's not a bloody slasher. It's okay.
Not if they're not actually pillowing.
So let's get to the thrilling part. So the guy from The Bear starts beating the crap out of the guy, and he knocks him unconscious, and he's all bloody in the bathtub. And then they go out to talk about what's happening. And meanwhile, this mysterious figure comes into the bathroom and puts his hand over the guy he just beat the crap out of. So he kills that guy. That guy's dead. They come back in the bathroom. They check his pulse, and he's like, "That guy's dead. He's dead. You killed him." So now they're really freaking out because they killed this guy, or they think they killed this guy. So they're like, the other guy's like, "Hey, there's a mountain over there. We can just throw his body out there, and then we'll leave." And then they'll just think he got drunk and fell off the cliff. And they're like, "That sounds like the plan." So meantime, this killer guy is walking around, and he takes them out one by one, like slashers like to do. He wears this real weird mask. It's creepy mask. So he takes them out, and then it ends. The end is like the creepiest part because it kind of shows this guy's routine. So he goes back into the house, he like cleans up the stuff, he replaces the shower heads and stuff. They never show the slasher. He takes off his mask at one point, but they only show the back of his head. And then so he goes and he rents another Airbnb, or I don't know what he does. He buys it or something, and it's in the city. And then during the end credits, it shows like the couple staying there, and it shows them on the camera, like them going to the bathroom. You can see that. So it's really creepy. Yeah, it's a real creepy ending. That was probably the most enjoyable part because it's very unsettling. There's barely any music in it, and yeah, so it wasn't a bad movie. It was pretty good. It's not a slasher like I don't know who it's for, because if you're a slasher fan, you want extreme kills and stuff like that. It definitely doesn't give you that. But it wasn't a bad movie for like a first director chance. So that was called The Rental. And then I watched a movie called The Judge. It has Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall. Their performances are great. The drama is great. So it's basically this guy who's a lawyer goes back to his hometown because his mother died. So he goes back there, and meanwhile, he has kind of this strained relationship with his dad and his brothers who live there. One of his brothers is Vincent D'Onofrio, and the other one's the guy from Succession, and plays a totally different kind of guy. It was kind of weird seeing that. But anyway, so he goes back to the town, and while he's there, his father gets accused of killing someone. So now he's got to represent his father in court, and he's got to defend him. And it's
I feel like I've seen this.
Yeah, I bet you probably have.
I think I have, but I don't remember it at all.
Sounds like something Dad would watch. It's a weird movie. Like I said, the drama's good, and the two performances from them are good. But then it has this weird, like Hallmark feeling romance squished in the middle, because he meets his old girlfriend, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the guy from the big city, and I'm here to meet I'm meeting my old girlfriend." But it's really weird because it doesn't feel like it should be a rated R movie, but they're always like dropping F-bombs. And then there's this weird thing where he like hooked up with this young girl, and it turns out to be the daughter of the old ex-girlfriend. And then he like finds out that it might be his daughter, and he's like freaking out.
My God.
It's like, what the heck is going on in this movie? So yeah, it was different. I mean, I like parts of it. I didn't like parts of it, but I mean, it's hard to beat Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall at acting, so they were really good in it. And that's all I did. Oh,
do you want to talk about the ending of Knuckles, or what you thought about it?
Did you talk about it?
No.
Okay, so we did finish Knuckles. Weirdly, the end had very little Knuckles in it. It was like, where did Knuckles go? It's all about Wade, which he's in the Sonic movies. I don't know if you remember him. He's kind of the deputy. He's the deputy to Sonic's dad or stepdad. And so it was all about him, and Knuckles this time just chilled out on a hotel bed and ate some gummy bears. So
I feel like these 3 episodes are a little funnier because of the the bowling announcers.
The bowling was good. I did like the bowling.
I guess they need to save money from all the CG with Knuckles, so they just like, this is Wade's time. But I enjoyed it. It wasn't long. It didn't overstay its welcome, and you got the whole Knuckles eating grapes. So I'll love this forever because of that.
Yeah, really, Knuckles is cute. It's like you don't think of them as being cute in the video games, but they're kind of cute.
He's at a bar, or he's at a bar. Knuckles. He's like 15, but he's at a bar. But he's like, "Give me your biggest challah bread," and they have it. They just randomly have it.
So apparently Knuckles is Jewish because he joins this family. So it was funny. I'm ready for the Tails spinoff.
Where's this bar that has challah bread, and how come I haven't been?
It's in Reno, Nevada, the best city ever. As they
That's
say
probably why I probably will never want to go to Reno, Nevada.
So yeah, I'm all for it. Like if they want to make a Tails spinoff, I'd watch a Tails spinoff too. So 6 episodes of Tails romancing a robot fox or something like that.
We don't need to bring that back. Poor Tails, always getting outdone by Knuckles or Sonic. Sonic's always taking his women.
He's too slow, Jared.
He's too slow. I don't want Shadow. I'm
I can't freaking wait.
Isn't it Keanu Reeves?
It is Keanu. That's the coolest part of it. That's like dead on casting for it.
Do you want Shadow to have a gun?
No.
Yes.
No, that's the video game. He's just like.
I didn't really care for the music number, like the whole musical part of Knuckles. But
it was fine. The like song.
Yeah.
So there's an episode that's a musical.
Oh.
So
Wade, I think they are.
Wade puts on a costume that looks like Knuckles. So it's weird. It's very weird.
It's weird.
But I'm all for a Sonic expanded universe. The director says he wants it to be an Avengers level team up whenever they get together for the movie. With Sonic and Knuckles. Let's throw some Amy Rose in there, man. Let's get them all in there. All right. Is that all we wanted to talk about? Any bonus stuff that needs to be said? No.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Please subscribe to the channel, throw us some likes, and notify yourself for even more good stuff to come. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Recording stopped.